Hello and welcome to the in-depth series section of Drishti IAS. I'm Aisha, and in today's episode we will be talking about the ex-Prime Minister of Bangladesh, that is Sheikh Hasina, not able to find a proper asylum, or the roadblocks which are being created in her seeking asylum in other countries. So the biggest asylum camp in the world is situated in Bangladesh, Cox's region, and the ex-Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, is not able to find asylum. As of now, Sheikh Hasina is in India and she might have to extend her refuge in India because her further attempts of seeking asylum in other country like the United Kingdom is finding roadblocks. So let us know further. And the most important thing that we will be looking today is about India's refugee policy. So the points of discussion is first of all about the news, then who is a refugee, India and the UN Convention with regard to refugee and asylum, then what is non-refoulement principle, in the end prelims practice question. Topic is of relevance from General Studies paper 2, that is policy and also refugee. Before we move forward, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. And the news talks about Sheikh Hasina in India amid UK asylum roadblock. What is India's policy on refugee? Now, what becomes important is knowing about and being aware about India's policy on refugee. So, as of now, our neighbor, that is Bangladesh, with which we share a land border and the maritime border. So there is a crisis going on in Bangladesh, and as of now the interim government has been formed in Bangladesh, which is being led by the Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus. So the ex-Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, has fled the country, and as of now she is in India, and there were reports that she is seeking asylum in United Kingdom, but now there are certain roadblocks which are coming in between her seeking asylum in UK. So she will be extending her refuge in India. And the Bangladesh has been going through a crisis, and there were violent and deadly protests which was going on with regard to the situation which was in Bangladesh with regard to the reservation policy, the 30% quota system, the inflation, and the country not even able to generate proper number or the even number of employment or jobs for the youth. So this is about the background. So as of now, what is happening is that the former Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina will likely remain in India for some more time, and her plans to travel to the United Kingdom faced a technical roadblock, and this is with regard to the asylum seeking in the United Kingdom, as there is an immigration rule in United Kingdom which talks about that the asylum request can only be processed once a person is in the United Kingdom, and Hasina does not hold a visa for traveling to United Kingdom. So UK immigration rule or United Kingdom asylum rule talks about that the person has to be present in the United Kingdom to seek asylum, and as of now Sheikh Hasina is not present in United Kingdom. She is as of now in India, and she does not hold as of now the visa to travel to the United Kingdom. Now this is creating a roadblock between her seeking asylum in the United Kingdom. Then India has decided to let her stay in the country despite the lack of official policy on refugee. And now she is staying in India. So it becomes important for us to know about what is India's policy on refugee, and does India actually have a legal policy on refugee or not. So let us first understand that who is a refugee. So who is a refugee? So according to the 1951 United Nations Convention on the Status of Refugees and its 1967 protocol, it talks about that a refugee is any person who is outside their country of origin. Country of origin means that the country in which the person was born, he or she is outside of that country and unable or unwilling to return owing to well-founded fear of persecution for various reasons. So the person who is not present in the country of his or her birth and is not even able to come back to that country for some of the reasons, and the reasons can be like, the reasons is related to race, religion, nationality, membership of a particular social group, or political opinion. So according to the United Nations Convention, this is the definition of a refugee: any person who is outside their country of origin and unable or unwilling to return owing to well-founded fear of persecution for reasons of race, religion, nationality, membership of a particular social group or political opinion. Then there is one more definition, and that is with regard to the Oxford Handbook of Refugee and Forced Migration Studies. So it talks about refugee in the sense that a refugee is stateless person, may also be refugees in this sense, where the country of origin is understood as country of former habitual residence. It means that the country which was of actual residence and the country which was of origin, the person is not being able to return back to that country because of fear of persecution, and that can be with regard to race, nationality, religion, or etc. So these are the official definitions of a refugee. Now let us talk about India and the UN Convention. Does India also relate to these definitions legally or not? So nearly 3 lakh people have been categorized as refugee in India, and this includes Tibetans, Chakmas from Bangladesh, refugees from Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, or etc. And if we talk about the biggest refugee crisis that went was around the time of 2016, 17 and 18, and that was the Rohingya refugee crisis. So Rohingya's refugee crisis, that is the people from Myanmar. The people from Myanmar, they went to different countries like Bangladesh, like India, and what became a problem that the number of people were very high. So this is the Rohingya crisis is considered to be one of the biggest refugee crisis or one of the biggest deportation crisis also. So India is not a signatory to the 1951 UN Convention or the 1967 Protocol. So the UN Convention for Refugee 1951 or the 1967 Protocol, India is not a signatory to it. Very, very important point for you to remember that India is not a signatory to the United Nations Convention. Then India also does not have a refugee policy or a refugee law. So legally, as of now, legally if we talk about, then India do not have a explicit refugee policy or a explicit refugee law. So explicitly there is no refugee law or there is no refugee policy as of now, and India is also not a signatory to the 1951 UN Convention. Then this has allowed India to keep its options open on question of refugees, because India is not a signatory to the 1951 Convention. So India is not bound to follow the rules of the 1951 Convention, and because of which, because there is no concrete policy, so India can deal with the situation of refugee in a very diverse manner, and the history have shown it that with regard, India has seen so many refugee crises, like for example in 1947 when India got independence, or the 1971 when liberation war of Bangladesh was going on, and then the Sri Lanka crisis was going on, and the Sri Lanka crisis went on for more than a decade. And then the Rohingya crisis, because India does not have an explicit policy, so it can deal with the situation in a different manner. The government can declare any set of refugees as illegal immigrants according to the needs. Then what is deportation or non-refoulement principle? Now this non-refoulement principle is one of the principles we hear a lot or we read a lot in the news. Now what it is? So when we talk about the legal deportation, and in the starting when I told you that Sheikh Hasina is facing problem with regard to seeking asylum in the United Kingdom, so it talked about that the United Kingdom, the person has to be present in the UK or must be having a visa to travel to the UK. And as of now, what becomes the problem, the biggest problem as of now is that with refugees is that the country who is willing to deport the refugee to the country to which the refugee belongs. Now the problem is that whether the country is willing to accept the refugees back or not, because if the country is not ready to return back or to take back their people, then it becomes a problem that where will the refugee go. So the bottom line to legal deportation, deportation means that sending back the people to their place or to their place of origin. So the bottom line to legal deportation, as opposed to just pushing people back over the border, is that the other country must accept the deportees as its national. Because if the country will not accept the deportees as its national, then becomes the problem, because the other country is ready to deport it, but the first country is not able to not ready to accept it. So where will the people go? Now this becomes a problem. Then, according to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, which India is a signatory to it, so it has a principle, and the principle is non-refoulement principle. Now non-refoulement principle means that no refugee shall be returned in any manner to any country where he or she would be at risk of persecution. And India is also a great supporter of the principle of non-refoulement. It says that if, imagine this is one country, this is second country. Now people originally belong to the one country, and now they are refugee in the second country. But the principle of non-refoulement talks about that the people will not in any case or in any manner will return to the first country if they have a fear of persecution on the ground of religion, caste, race, anything. So if they fear persecution, then they must not be returned back, or they must not be deported back to the first country. Now this is what is the principle of non-refoulement talks about, and India is also a great supporter of this principle. Now look at the data, and this data is with regard to the year 2023. So it talks about the statistical data of refugees. So if we talk about approximately, then the forcible displaced people worldwide is 108.4 million, and the country which hosts maximum number of refugees is 3.6 million, and that is Turkey. Then the country which originates maximum number of refugees, the country from which maximum number of people go out, and that is Syria, 6.8 million. Then around 40% approximately are children below 18 years of age in refugee. Then India hosts approximately 2.5 lakh refugees and asylum seeker, and this number goes from 2.5 lakh to 3 lakhs. Then if we talk about the refugees, then 7% is Afghanistan, 14% Myanmar, 34% Tibet, 43% Sri Lanka. So these are the countries from where refugees come to India. Now, with regard to the legal framework related to refugees in India, if India does not have a legal policy or a legal refugee law, then there must be something legal on the basis of which things are going on in India as of now. So the legal framework which are related to refugees in India as of now is, first of all, is the Citizenship Act of 1955. So the Citizenship Act of 1955 contains provisions with regard to the renunciation, termination and deprivation of Indian citizenship. Recently it went through an amendment. So the Citizenship Amendment Act 2019, there was an amendment to it, and the amendment was in itself was very controversial, as the different religions were given citizenship in regard to it. Then comes next, that is the Registration of Foreigners Act of 1939. So all foreign nationals, excluding the overseas citizens of India, so all foreign nationals visiting India on long-term visa, and long-term visa means more than 180 days, they must register themselves with the registrar officer within 14 days of arriving in the country. Then comes next, and that is the Foreigners Act of 1946. It talks about, and it empowers the central government under section 3 to detect, detain and deport illegal foreign nationals present in the country. So as of now, the foreign nationals which are deported from India is under the Foreigners Act of 1949, and different religion people given citizenship in India is on the basis of the amendment to the Citizenship Act, and the people coming from outside, that is the foreign national who registers in India under the Registration of Foreigners Act of 1939. So this was about India's refugee policy and the present situation which is as of now going on. Now in the end it is a prelims MCQ, and you people will give me the answer in the comment section, and it is a PYQ of the year 2016. So it talks about consider the following pairs, community sometimes seen in the news and the country it belongs to. So Kurd, Bangladesh, Madhesi, Nepal, Rohingya, Myanmar. Which of the pairs given above is or are correctly matched? 1 and 2 only, 2 only, 2 and 3 only, or 3 only? As it is a PYQ, I expect you to know this answer. So give me the answer in the comment section. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Till we meet next time. Keep reading, keep writing, and keep subscribing to the channel. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.